And we're live.
Roundabout cast. It's the Hanukkah special right around the corner, right, Tyler?
Yeah.
Hanukkah special.
Right around the corner.
Yes.
Hey, I can't wait. All of our Jewish members of the podcast will celebrate.
If you are Jewish and listening to the podcast, Tyler wants to know if y'all have a secret Santa-like holiday.
Which is why this is even coming up. Which one of us is closest to Jewish?
I could be. I don't know. I think the argument could be made.
I think it's between me and Bradley.
Probably.
Is it? I feel like Willer's the furthest one of us from being Jewish.
So
I think
I feel like this could get into really offensive territory really quickly.
yeah, you know what?
You know what?
Let's start over.
about all this.
No, this is good. No, fuck it. I'll state my case. When I grew up, I went to like a church.
Oh shit, we're going.
Called the Church of the Seventh-day Adventists, which is a sect of Christianity that goes to church on Saturday, because that's the seventh day, and everyone else is doing it wrong. And they were really strict. So, in that case, I make a plea to be the closest to Jewish among the members.
All in favor of Willer being the most Jew-adjacent member of the Roundabout cast?
Yeah,
Yo, I just fucking wanted to know if they have a secret Santa.
Yeah.
well, as a representative, Tyler, I will say yes.
Fuck off. You're so terrible.
I used to go on church on Saturdays too. I went to a Catholic church that just had Saturday Mass.
So, like, our church, like, believed the Catholic Church was, like, the devil. Like, you know, genuinely that they were, like, corrupting Christianity. Shit. It was some intense shit. But anywho,
Speaking about religion.
Welcome to the Roundabout cast.
Hey.
Starting on light topics like religion.
Speaking of religion, Bradley.
Yes.
Tell us about this new event for Genshin.
I don't know. I feel a little bit like I've been being cheated on because I just open up my fucking phone and I see there's some new Genshin event that I haven't heard of, and usually I know about them weeks in advance, so I'm kind of heard about it.
Isn't it
something about balls?
Surprised for once, you know, having one surprise.
I guess being surprised. I'll let them slip one little surprise in my game.
I didn't mute myself because I was dying.
That was really funny.
As far as the churches in which I visit, so Guilty Gear Strive recently did its ranking reset, and only like the top 5% stayed in heaven. And I'm just like, I'm never climbing back up. I'm gonna be in floor 10 for the rest of my life.
Shit.
Better than me. I'll be at floor like 7. I'll be ping-ponging my way between 7 and 9 for life.
But it was fun getting some wins up there. The thing with getting there, I think I've explained it. You need to, once you're in your promos, you need to do 5 out of 6. So if I do get there, it'll be like a lucky scenario where I ran into 2 people that I could 3-0, or 1 guy I can 3-0 and 1 person I can 2-1. But the thing is, if I do win, it's usually a 2-1, and 2 2-1s is a 4-6, and they're like, no, you are not good enough to play with us if you get a 4-6.
It's really strict.
It's pretty strict, and now that like more people have dropped off the game, it's harder to like cheese out the wins. But hey, I'll still have fun in my floor 10 world. Always. That's me with fighting games. Always good, but right below the pinnacle. And I don't know if that'll change. Maybe one day if I learn how to fight.
Good enough to body all your friends at parties.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's what matters. Is that not what matters?
Fucking SeaWorld.
Me and Willer had some good bouts last weekend.
There were some really close matches in there. Too close for comfort.
Tyler was taking my May to the extreme, which is neat.
Girl.
And then my other church that I visit often is Teppen, which is having their 2-year anniversary right now, and it is banging. I made... Because the meta changed because one of the packs rotated out, so my usual decks don't work anymore. So I made my own recently, and like I'm pulling out some fucking Phoenix Wright comebacks genuinely with the card.
I saw.
Really fun.
Yo, Willer, Phoenix, new Ace Attorney this month. I'm excited.
This month has Ace Attorney, Pokemon Unite, and Neo: The World Ends With You.
Yeah.
Dude, this month is nasty, baby.
I'm so excited
for me,
late July.
It has that Ace Attorney game, but it also has the final DLC of Warhammer 2 coming out this month as well, before Warhammer 3 drops later this year.
Also, not coming out this month, but announced recently. Me and Will are very happy.
Oh yeah.
The next installment in the Somnium Files.
This
by the god.
This was completely out of nowhere. This was completely out of nowhere, and I genuinely did not expect a sequel to this series. I've told Bradley, I hope that we get to see all of our characters. We got to see Mizuki, but I want to see like Ota and Iris grown up and see what Momo's up to and all that. But what I don't want to see is those action sequences and some of the dream mechanics. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, what the game did well was the characters, and I think as long as we have those, anything's forgivable because we went through a lot.
Joe, I did want to ask you, why don't you expand on how your D&D campaign is going? Joe's running a D&D campaign that he writes pages and pages of documents in preparation. Mm-hmm. For people to not appreciate as much as they should.
Hold on. So I also have to develop these are really basic looking, but maps that they had to fight on. So this is the winery that they went and fought at and had to go rescue and save. So I spent about a solid few hours.
Damn, Joe.
Every week doing this. It's going very well. The first few sessions, what the fuck is happening?
What the fuck?
Why are there two Zanzukis?
They're staring at each other.
A new challenger has entered.
Cool.
But yeah, so the first few sessions that we had were very much build-up sessions. They were just kind of introducing the characters to each other, and they're just they got sucked into this thing called Barovia. And they cannot get out. And so they're kind of for a while, they're well, what the hell's going on? And they were escorting this girl across the map. And they recently just ran into Strahd von Zarovich, who is the vampiric lord of this land. And he came in and kind of took them down a few notches because they were really kicking ass in a lot of their fights. So we've been having a good time. Yesterday we had a nice little car chase wagon sequence where they were chased by werewolves as they were trying to escape.
Cute.
So one of the players had to drive the cart and had to do a bunch of skill checks to make sure that the cart stayed on the course and they didn't knock the cart over, because if the cart fell over, the horses were for sure going to die and there was no way they were going to get what they needed back to this village. But I think we have a new player that's never played D&D before. She's having a good time. I had to have a sit down with her and be like, you're not using your spells. I need you to use your spells or you're going to die.
She played D&D with us.
She did, but so magic is different in D&D. It's a resource that's very finite in the others compared to the other part, where it's basically in D&D you get so many spell casts a day, and then once you cast all your spells for the day, you're done. You cannot cast any more spells.
Look. In D&D, it's if you're role playing, it's D&D.
Yes.
Okay. If you're role playing and you're on an adventure with friends and you have paper and figurines and a stat sheet, it's D&D.
I think I've only ever done D&D with rules once.
Yeah, I feel like there would be some D&D snobs that might not agree with you, Tyler, but I've also never done D&D and have resigned myself to never be able to bring together a party to do.
Oh, you will. I have things in works. Don't worry.
We'll see.
It's going to be a D&D fighting game, set in a fighting game universe, where your spells are input combo.
Well, then everyone is literally just fucking monks at that point, because that's literally the monk class. Is you're just a fighting game boy.
No, Joe, you're not using your expanded universe imagination. I need you to think outside.
Think outside the bands of the standard.
Think
D&D.
outside of the octagon. Okay.
Yes.
I can't do frame perfect spacing, so it's just not gonna hit the same. I'm sorry.
It's basically you'll be
pacing is actually a big deal in D&D. So
you'll be creating a manga with the spoken word of moment to moment fight sequences. I take my right foot back and prepare a 6E into SS quarter circle forward combo.
236K.
Joe's right, spacing is a huge deal, so we can make this work. Design it.
No. Just do another setting.
We're having a good time. one of the players was like, man, these combat's been really good because they've been very dynamic and like so they've had to like jump off of floors and through windows to chase after these druids, and then like they were constantly like moving around to engage, and then like the car chase is like it's not static, so it gives them some other kind of dimension for them to think about whenever they're actually doing these combat encounters, rather than be like, we're just like 3 dudes lined up in a row against 3 other dudes lined up in a row, and then we take turns hitting each other.
Cool.
Yeah, but they're having a good time. We're on session, I think 4. Yeah, 3 or 4. And so I'm.
No.
It's month counting. But yeah, I'm looking to shoot for like 10 to 15 sessions, so they're almost halfway done with it. And so, but they've been doing really good, and I'm excited. And then I'll probably talk about it more and see if anyone dies later. But we'll see.
Tyler moved. I don't know if that's as exciting as
yeah,
dude. Like, okay, so I got to play some League this week, and then like I checked when's the last time I played League, and it was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so good.
I was like 2 months out, and then I played a game the other day with some of y'all, and then maybe another. I'm good staying a professional distance away from that video.
I'll say, I think in June I played 1 game, and you know what? It was a Zoe game, so I had fun. But that was the one. That was the one game.
But
recovering addicts.
I have moved because I am now full-time employee boy.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, I got a big boy job with a big boy company. And it's really great because...
What big boy company is that, Tyler?
I don't want to be specific, so I'll just say EA, and we can get flamed for that and provide some nice comments.
Yes.
Because everybody likes EA, right?
Yeah. What's funny is that Tyler moved, and they didn't even move to the city that his company is based in.
Yeah.
No, that move is in 3 months.
Yeah.
I just moved out because I needed to.
Honestly.
I'm happy for Tyler.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so like in retrospect, EA is so fucking massive. Like people are flaming it for one thing one day, and then literally It Takes Two is an EA game.
Well, that's the beauty, right? It's being able to flame multiple things, different things every day. It's wonderful.
I was about to say, like, whenever I was looking at game development jobs, even remotely close to the Austin area, I was just like, it feels like everything somehow trails back to EA.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many EA jobs over here.
There's a lot of buy-ups happening right now, so it's just how it happens. But yeah, I've been buying furniture. I've been really into furniture stuff, trying to like interior decorate.
It's funny because it really shows from your background right now.
Well, no. So that's the thing. Is I have art. I have art on order. Okay, I'm putting together my credenza currently, and that's gonna go right behind me. I got this to go on my credenza, and it's an Easter Island Maui head.
Very nice.
And this is gonna go on my credenza. And then I got some picture frames, and I need to order pictures. But I know there's a guy who listens, or girl, whomever listens to our podcast, who is also an architecture student.
Whoa.
So I picked up this book recently, which is Interior Design Masterclass.
Oh, you showed me that the other weekend, because we all hung out last weekend. It was a good time with each other.
Yeah. This is a series of essays and case studies about interior design that I've been going through slowly. And it's great. It's not about, it's not going to tell me like, oh, hey, blue goes with red, or, yellow goes with navy, or put the mirror on the wall to expand your space or whatever shit. It's more of just like about philosophies of design and how to approach like your space and things like that sort. I think it's going to get into more detail as I go through, but it's been good so far. It's by my favorite publisher for architecture books, which is called Rizzoli, which is a publisher in New York, and they actually do custom-made libraries, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
That's my life right now.
Those are good free talks. I've started some games that I will talk about here soon. I'm trying to finish Yakuza 3. I'm trying to get that out of the way before I can play the cool one, which is Yakuza 7. And then
showed me a screenshot of Yakuza that made me laugh.
that game,
is it Yakuza Like a Dragon?
No,
That's
it's
the Yakuza I'm trying to get to. But I'm like, if I don't do 3 right now, I'm never gonna finish it. But there's some goofy stuff I like in that game.
Man, you know what?
And I've been reading some stuff. One that I'll mention today with Tyler.
Yeah, tell me.
Shit about that, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And I've been rereading Zatch Bell a couple chapters every other night. Dude, I need to talk about this series proper, so I'm just laying the groundwork here for a future discussion. I think Zatch Bell is a technically crafted masterpiece.
Nice.
Of both character development, shonen action, and strategy, and humor, and emotions, all hidden underneath an ugly art style that is actually super charming.
I never thought it was ugly. I just thought it was...
The scans are bad, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, the scans are bad.
There's no official way to... I mean, they're not awful, but they ain't good either. So.
There were definitely... Because I read like the first 30... Maybe not 30, but like the first few chapters.
We were like 15, 18 in.
Yeah, I was like, man, I'm really enjoying this, but goddamn, I can't see what the fuck's going on in that panel in the border.
Spoiled by Viz.
I just think at the time it would have been on TV where I was just like probably at a point where I'm like, that's not Goku.
It was also for kids, so like it was all censored too.
I felt it was before its time, and also the anime doesn't cover the entire series, so every time I see someone who's watched Zatch Bell, they don't know anything past like the halfway point, so they don't know how fucked up it gets. But anyways,
they don't know the realness.
Let's get into topics, which these might actually go fast today. Well, we always say this, but let me do my quickie movie block and get that out of the way.
All right, let's start timer, Willer. You get 10 minutes.
Oh, come on. We'll see. I'll try. That sounds about right.
This is where people get their movie opinions from, so we got to give them this time.
You're right. But this is a time writing exam. So are you ready?
So I watched a couple movies lately. Let me go up from worst to best out of the movies I watched.
Okay.
One was The Guest, which is like a 2016 thriller in which a family loses their son to a war, and one day his war buddy shows up to their house and is like, he wanted me to tell you a couple of things like in his last moments, so I'm here to deliver that. And then he warms up to the family and ends up spending some time there. And he's the not so secret antagonist of the movie, where he's like a psychopath and he's putting the family in danger. This movie sucked, but I went and looked at the like comments for it. It seems like a cult classic, and I'm like, this one just kind of went over me. There's no tension. There's like everything's just kind of off. The dialogue is a little off. The scene pacing's a little off. The finale is so weird. Just didn't do anything.
I guess that's why some things are cult classics and not just classics.
Yeah, and this is a cult I am not into. The next one was called First Reformed, which is, I have a big movie list, and out of that list, I usually pick out the ones like I was excited to watch The Guest, so that bit me in the ass. Everything else in this list I've been super excited to watch, but then there's some stuff in the list where it's like, I've heard this is good, and I know nothing about it, and I'm going to mix it into the stuff I'm excited about and just be surprised. Mm-hmm. And First Reformed is that movie of this batch. It is about a priest in a like Midwestern church, and it's weird because this movie barely has a plot. It's very much a character study of this priest. He's played by Ethan Hawke, and he is genuinely a very interesting character, but the movie kind of drags on. It's like, where are we going? The basis of the plot, in slight spoilers, is that he talks a guy through his worries, like one of his constituents who is an activist is like, Father, like, is it right to bring a child into this world? I want to abort my girlfriend's child because I don't think it's right to bring them into a world that is going to be ruined by the time they're an adult because of our pollution and the way we're treating the planet and all that. And the priest, like, talks him through his worries, and then the guy, pretty early into the movie, commits suicide and leaves behind a bomb vest that then tempts that priest for the remainder of the movie as his thoughts grow increasingly dark about his situation, and his place in the world. I will leave it at that.
Movie.
It is an interesting premise. I do think and the ending is very tense, but it does take its sweet time getting there.
Recommend or not recommend?
I would. There's a reason why it is the number 4 out of the 5.
Okay.
I don't think you guys would There's a lot to appreciate in this movie, but it just doesn't seem like y'all's kinds of movie.
I smell you.
So, actually, there are 6 movies because a while ago I watched 1917, which is a war movie about 2 dudes.
Oh man,
they need to. It's basically shot in very long one-shots, so it looks gorgeous, and it's the journey that they go to get to another part of the World War I front line to call off an attack because that attack is meant to be a trap. And the main character's brother is in that other platoon, so he's very motivated to get there and save his brother's life. And it is intense. That is a very good movie, actually.
It's on my to-watch list. I mean, they have that really long one-shot scene where he runs to the parallel with the trench.
I believe the whole
that
movie
scene looks incredible. No, there's cuts, but they're very well hidden. So
well, like Birdman, they had cuts too, but that's film as of its one take kind of thing.
It's really good. And then next up, I watched Honeyboy. Honeyboy is an Amazon Prime movie, and it is the autobiography of Shia LaBeouf.
Oh.
And
oh shit, I haven't heard of this.
Shia LaBeouf plays his own father, and then a kid plays Shia LaBeouf, and then another actor plays adult Shia LaBeouf, who you're flashing back on his time in rehab and then his childhood, and you're seeing how he got to be the person he is as an adult.
Man.
And I think, as we all know, having lived the last few years, that Shia LaBeouf has gone through some shit and has had some mental breakdowns and has not always been in the best state of mind. So the big premise here is that his dad is kind of the one pulling for him to make it in the show business, but not in a way where it's the dad is manipulating the son and then taking his money. It's very much in a way where the dad is a fucking wreck, and he divorced his wife, and he's the one who moved out to LA to live with Shia LaBeouf and keep him going and take care of him. But he's such a jealous, weird, mentally wrong man. So Shia LaBeouf has to deal with his father's work issues as he's growing up, and there's a whole element that Dad, I'm the one who pays for you. I'm your boss. I hire you. And his dad feeling insecure about that and abusing Shia LaBeouf as a result. And the hardest scene in the movie is a scene where it's one of the hardest scenes in the movie. Is another dude from the film industry, maybe a stunt director or something, takes a liking to Shia LaBeouf and comes visit his dad because he wants to take Shia LaBeouf to a game with one of his other friends and be a mentor. He wants Shia LaBeouf to enroll in this mentorship program, and his dad seems, which again is played by Shia LaBeouf, so it's very
that's the dynamic that's fucking with me here.
And his dad is very cordial at first, and then the conversation slowly steers to very nasty and then physical, and it's just you never see that character again for the rest of the movie, and it's Shia LaBeouf's dad is stopping Shia LaBeouf from ever making these deeper connections, and it's a fucked up relationship, and it does the abuse really well. So I really like that one. Next up is The Farewell. This is a movie with an all-Asian main cast, and the plot is Awkwafina, who plays Billy, that's the main character. She is part of a family. They haven't gone to China since they were kids, but the thing is, she always talks to her grandma through the phone, so they still have a relationship, and she remembers her as a kid. And the grandmother finds out she has cancer. However, the family chooses to keep it secret from the grandmother so she can live the rest of her days without worry. And Billy, being very westernized, has clashing ideals with a lot of the rest of the family. There's a branch of the family that lives in the U.S., a branch of the family that lives in Japan, and a branch of the family that stayed in China. So when they all meet together to see her one last time under the guise of a wedding, it's like, oh, we're meeting for Bonhua's wedding. However, it's with a woman that like they're pressuring to get married, and they don't love each other, and it's like a forced wedding to have this excuse, and it's just a whole mess on that side. And they have to hide from their grandma the entire time that they're seeing her potentially for the last time. And Awkwafina does a great job in like pretending to have a good time with grandma, but it's like, oh, I know this dark secret, and clashing with the family and why they're doing the things they're doing. And I think something the movie does really well is play both sides of the argument really well. Because when I tell you this premise, you probably jump to a side of it immediately, right? It's like, oh, they're doing wrong, or oh, I could see why they would want to do that. And I certainly did. I was like, oh, they're doing wrong, and this is awful, and they should never do that. But by the end of the movie, you do get to see why their Eastern ideals might lead to this being the right thing.
Interesting.
So it's a very good movie. And then finally, Dr. Sleep.
I want to say something real quick.
Yes, sir.
It's just about Awkwafina. So, like,
yeah,
great actress, obviously very successful, very good at what she does. This is a very internet opinion I'm about to have. I fucking hate her voice. There's nothing wrong with it objectively. No, not at all. Obviously, she does like a lot of voice acting work, and it's great. It is a purely petty, don't like it.
Here's where I'm at. I do not like her work in Raya the Last Dragon very much. Mm-hmm.
However, that's my first exposure to her. So that's premonition.
Yeah. So like in person, same voice. She sounds just like the dragon, but with her body in real life, it's like, okay, this just works for me better for some reason.
I think it's kind of like, so there's like an art that voice actors have, and obviously something Disney has done for a long time is obviously get very well-known actors and actresses and have sold films based off of that personality being a voice actor.
Yeah, the star.
And so, yeah, when they have that, because like it all started with like Robin Williams being the genie. Yeah. So like, I mean, just thinking about voice actors and then like they just do that voice. Like another one that comes to mind is Seth Rogen, and like any voice, because he's done quite a few voice acting roles.
Yeah. Seth Rogen in Invincible threw me way off.
Yeah, same.
It's just it's Seth Rogen. It's not a voice actor. It's just Seth Rogen.
He tried his best in Invincible.
It's not bad at Invincible. Yeah. It's just Seth Rogen.
It's just slightly distracting. Because I was watching this and I was like, I know this man somewhere, and I'm not going to be able to focus on this show until I figure out who this is.
Thankfully,
it's like I'm watching Raya, and it's like every time the dragon starts talking, I'm just like, oh, that's Awkwafina.
So
meanwhile, the lady that played Raya is Rose from like The Last Jedi. And
really? That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, she just gets bad luck, huh?
She does.
Rose got shafted, man. What a good plot to throw away.
She gets shafted everywhere.
I think she's fine. Like, I think she's great.
Yeah, but I don't hate Rose. I just hate the plot she's in that movie.
Yeah.
One last thing I wanted to. Yes. Okay. We can do Cruella right after. I forgot about that, Joe. One last thing about the last movie, but one last thing about The Farewell that I really appreciated was Billy has a very different personality when talking in Chinese as opposed to English, which I've never seen a movie capture that because I am so less funny in Portuguese. And I actually get super frustrated because I'm like talking with my cousins or like with my father or my stepmom in Brazil or an aunt and uncle. It's like, I could really crack a good joke here if I could just deliver it right, but I can't. I'm gonna fumble through it because I'm just.
I don't know, man. You did pretty funny when you were translating the Mickey Mouse cartoons.
Yeah, but it was speaking in English.
Yeah,
but you know, yeah.
I can be funny. Holy shit! I'm funny. Okay. And finally, Doctor Sleep is the sequel to The Shining, which is a weird thing that exists. But hey, Stephen King wrote it himself. And This was just a really cool movie. I immediately was into it. So the premise of this movie, and I will be very non-spoilery with this because I know Tyler is very interested in this one. He really likes The Shining too. No, hear me out. Hear me out. Hold on. Don't run away yet. Basically, the movie takes place many years after The Shining, in which Danny Torrance is now Dan. He's an adult. He's got a big drinking problem, and he's trying to get his life around. Meanwhile, there's a cult of hippie soul vampires, like a commune of them that travels around America and steals the power from other people. So in The Shining, Danny Torrance has the power of The Shining, which allows him to shine and communicate with other people through a long distance. And this really in the movie it serves as like a weird secret part of the movie, but when you get to Dr. Sleep, you realize that the world is of course much more big than just Danny in that house going through that. There's a much more spiritual world out there and other people with similar psychic ability. Someone who's introduced very early has the type of ability where they tell you what to do and then you do it kind of thing. So there's all sorts of magical abilities, and this hippie commune goes around draining people of their ability and getting almost eternal life by continuously replicating and consuming magical ability. However, in modern times, there is less of that going on, and they're not sure why, but we just live in a less spiritual world now, so there's less targets for them to get. So whenever they do find a target, they need to torture that person in order to extract pain and suffering from them, which will allow them to like wring out just a little bit more soul juice out of them, which comes to head in the pivotal plot point of this movie where they kidnap a small child called the Baseball Kid, and Stephen King just loves fucking up small children. But the Baseball Kid is able to predict where people are going to pitch, so he has a very bright future ahead of him. And the hippie commune chases him down and tracks him down and kidnaps him. And then they kill him in the most horrific scene that, like, I went and, like, looked at and I was like, was everyone as uncomfortable as me? It was like, yeah, they made that so painful for the kid. But that's what they gotta do to survive. And then the reason why this is significant is because there's another character called Abra, and her sister Kadabra, and her brother Alakazam. That's not true. There's just Abra. Okay. But Abra, I believe, is the granddaughter of the Black Housekeeper of The Shining 1. Something like that. There's some familial connection, but it doesn't come up. At least that's what I thought before going into the movie, but I don't know if that's actually the case. Anyways, Abra is a very strong psychic, and she's able to sense what happens to the Baseball Kid, and that kicks off the plot as she reaches out to Danny for help in not getting chased down by these vampire people. Let me talk about the main villain real quick, Rose the Hat. She is so hot, but also such an entertaining villain. But like,
Hold on, I need to do some research.
She's pretty to the point of being distracting in her villainous ways, because you're like, you could suck me of my essence. But that is not an uncommon thought. I saw that a lot. But she's one of the best villains of 2019, because that's when this movie came out. There's so much time spent fleshing out the villain force of this movie that makes them great. And Rose the Hat is simultaneously threatening, but Abra is so strong, where there's some scenes where Rose is the one who's really getting her ass kicked. And it's super entertaining. The best scene in the movie, hands down, is the scene where Rose the Hat is astral projecting to go locate where Abra is, and it is the most visually stunning scene. It looks gorgeous, but when she gets there, Abra kicks her ass so hard, and it's so hype. And that's just like midway through the movie. That's like encounter between them.
That's the thing. You've been saying all this, and I'm like, is this the whole movie? And you're like, no, this is just part of it.
Everything I've mentioned is leading up to the halfway point, and it's like a 2-hour, 30-minute movie. So like, there's a lot of stuff in it. I loved it. It was really fun. Definitely not as scary, but also The Shining doesn't really scare me as much as it unsettles me deeply, and this movie can get really unsettling. So,
would you recommend this movie to someone that's never seen The Shining?
Honestly, no. I think it's very important to watch The Shining.
Okay.
Because it's very important to Danny's character arc, and Tyler, are you listening to me still talk? No, I think he's gone. They go back to the Hotel of the Shining because it is a place that feeds off psychic energy. So it's a perfect trap to trap the vampires there. And there's a very good scene there with Danny and his father, who is Jack Torrance from The Shining. His spirit is still there, still trapped in that hotel.
Is it Jack Nicholson? Did they bring Jack Nicholson back?
They don't redo any of the actors, which I thought was interesting, and they don't use de-aging or CGI. They just get new people, and you're like, okay, that's one way to do it.
Right. Whatever.
Yeah, and there's scenes with young Danny and his mom, too, that I feel like you do need the context. This is a good two-parter. And we're done. You're good, Tyler. That's all the movies I got, folks.
Yeah.
Joe, why don't you tell us about Cruella? I wanted to watch this, but I forgot that I wanted to watch this because I wanted to talk about this with you, but I'll bring it up next time.
So I watched Cruella. This is maybe it's not the first movie I saw in theaters, but I went and saw this in theaters because I was like, I'm not going to spend $30 on Disney Plus because I spent $30 at the movie theater and got a whole meal out of it. So, big benefit for me. Cruella is obviously like Disney's like Maleficent rendition of Cruella de Vil, stars Emma Stone. Very, very different character than in the animated show movie because not even close to the same character. But Cruella is actually named Estella, who wants to be a fashion.
I suppose she wouldn't be called Cruella, would she?
Yeah. Who wants to be a fashion designer. And so one day her mom stops by this mansion to get some money from a friend, and that mom is then killed by Dalmatians.
She gets hyper comboed off the cliffs.
She gets drop kicked off the cliff and dies. And then,
which okay,
they were time traveling Dalmatians, obviously.
No, it's explained.
Oh hell no.
It's not a good explanation.
The explanation already isn't good. Like you said, she was going to borrow money. It was implied she was going to go there.
That's part of the twist of the movie. So she ends up running to London where her mother and her were about to move to, and then she runs into Jasper and Horace, which are two goons from 101 Dalmatians, and they set up a thieving ring. And then, classic kind of scenario. She does some odd jobs, and she ends up running into not Meryl Streep, but someone that looks very close to Meryl Streep. And she's a renowned actress. I cannot remember her name right now.
Yeah,
but very much the Devil Wears Prada lady. And she's like, I want you to work for me. And then she goes and works for this fashion industry. And then the movie devolves into a non-battle shonen.
Let's go.
Where it turns out that the woman she is working for is the woman that killed her mom.
Oh, did she spike the necklace to make the dogs attack her?
She had a dog whistle that could command the dogs.
Yeah,
but why?
The dog command.
Part of the plot twist.
Joe, spoil it for me. I don't care. I'm not going to see this movie.
Okay, so as it turns out. All right. Do you want?
Will, you're not in 3 years.
Is this spoiler? Will this ruin my enjoyment?
Nah.
If there is,
I'm literally asking you to ruin this movie for me because I'm never gonna see it.
So the plot of the twist of the movie is that I say twist because it's very obvious when you start watching the movie. Is that this woman is actually Estella's real mom, who covered up, who did not want a child. And was going to kill the child, but her father saved her and took her and gave it to this lady.
She proceeded to kill her stepmom then.
Yes, because what would happen is then that child would have rights to the inheritance to everything that this woman had, basically. And she's like, I don't want that because she's fucking crazy. But then what's up happening is that question.
Is Cruella still bad guy?
Of course not.
So, so what ends up happening is that basically Estella's like, well, I can't. Basically goes into this whole thing and creates a completely different persona called Cruella, who basically starts her own fashion company to be counterculture to this lady. Her name's the Baroness. That's her name the entire movie. Doesn't have an actual name. It's just called the Baroness.
That's fine. I saw her wearing a lot of belts in some of those screenshots.
Yeah.
I guess that's fashion.
So this movie, like, costume design on point, fucking stellar. It's so good. It's some great ass shit going on.
But Joe,
yeah,
like, is it even a good anti-hero movie?
Like between this and Maleficent, right?
I need to see Maleficent.
Oh my god, Maleficent's so good.
All right, homework for next podcast. Me and Joe both.
Oh my god.
I bet it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Maleficent, unironically, like, not even joking, a top 10 anime betrayal. Like, it is right behind Berserk for me, level
like,
betrayal.
I don't understand what I never heard of, like, the twist of Maleficent that makes her seem not evil. So I'm super keen to watch it one day.
So what's
oh my god.
It's hard not to say. Like, here's the thing. Halfway through the movie, Cruella kidnaps the Dalmatian dogs from this lady. And I'm just like, that's kind of fucked up, regardless of what anyone thinks about what else this lady does. You can't just go and steal someone's dogs.
Sure you can. She killed your mom.
But I think the movie itself was fun. It was enjoyable. Not groundbreaking, but I was just like, oh, this is fun. But, like, what's really disappointing is that you get this non-battle battle shonen aspect of it, and I'm just like, there's just so much other stuff that's going on here that I think if you pull it away and just focus on this, like, fashion design kind of battle that you're having here, you have really cool. Because, like, the best part is while she's doing this, she's disguising herself as Cruella and still working at this place for the Baroness. And she sets it up where she forces the Baroness to, like, put all of her, like, clothing away, and then one of the clothes that she made for the Baroness, she stitched in moth eggs into it, so they end up hatching and eating all the dresses, and it screws up her fashion still. Yeah, I'm like, this is some creative stuff that I'm just kind of vibing and enjoying with, and I think it's a very clever things going on back and forth.
2 questions I got for you, Joe.
Yes.
1. How is Emma Stone in it? Got a slight Emma Stone crush, so I can keep track.
Same.
Emma Stone's a hot mess in a good way.
Cool.
Yeah. I think she's having some fun with the role, but also I feel like not her best acting, but, like, just like, all right, cool. You're vibing with it, and definitely in some scenes. Like, there are some scenes where just like you're not hitting the mark, and then some other scenes are like, yeah, you're really rocking it.
Emma Stone takes some trashy roles like Easy A and stuff.
Yeah. Well, Easy A here is
Easy A is great.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, okay. I thought Easy A was like trashy fun, but
No,
like, great.
she
great.
played. All right.
Hey, dude, I have not known Emma Stone to actually make anything bad.
Okay. I should check out Easy A. Okay, that's more Emma Stone.
I enjoyed her performance in it. What was the second question?
The second question was, is it okay to kill the dogs by the end? Are we cool? She's cool? She can kill the dogs? We're good to go?
She can't kill the dogs by the end of it. Actually,
then what's the point? She's still the villain.
So we're doing some Naruto level retconning here.
Okay, I'm going to fuck this up even more. Are you ready for this shit?
Yeah, please fuck me up.
Okay, so they go through this whole thing. They get the Baroness arrested, and because she's arrested, Cruella. So what ends up happening is Cruella fakes her death, Estella's death, and then Estella, before she died, said everything that I own goes to Cruella de Vil, which is her alter ego, and no one's really seen Cruella in person, so they don't know what she looks like.
Okay.
So she ends up getting the Baroness's fortune and a mansion, all of that, including the dogs. The Dalmatian dogs.
She already owns the dogs now.
She owns Dalmatian dogs. One of the Dalmatian dogs gets pregnant and has those dogs. It has dogs. Like, all right, cool. It turns out that Roger from 101 Dalmatians worked for the Baroness.
Who's Roger?
Roger is
the father.
The father. The male character.
There's a male dad and mom.
Yeah. So the good guy.
The good guy.
And 101 Dalmatians worked for the Baroness, and she just happened to know him. He was the lawyer.
So they're straight up retconning the entire plot.
Yeah. And then she was friends with Annalise, the mom, in grade school, which is not retcon. That's actually, like, in the movie itself, they went to grade school together. She gives them the Dalmatians that get together and have the other Dalmatians she would end up kidnapping.
So I want to talk about the genius of the marketing of this movie. for the new generation.
Yeah.
We're in such a huge political divide right now. Think about that young generation hearing their parents talk about like, oh, back in my day, 101 Dalmatians, making them watch that movie, it being a piece of shit compared to now. And then the like kids are like, oh yeah, he was bad the whole time. And they're like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? Further increasing our political divide in the economy Disney is saying.
Wow.
Yes.
Good
Anyways,
theory, good theory. This is Tyler One Piece theory level.
I got to the end there, and I was like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, but it's cute, so whatever.
I guess that doesn't, like, they have the dogs, and one day she's gonna come back for her present, and like... Which is their 30 dogs that were born and kidnapped.
No, Joe, it's 101.
No, it's not 101. It's not 101. She already had a bunch of other Dalmatians at her mansion, and they took those dogs, and then all the dogs came back and lived with them. That's what happened.
I don't even know what happens in Maleficent, but I have a feeling it is a more like effortless. Like Maleficent was not a bad guy or as bad.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this: if I see a girl with 2 or more dogs, I already just go, that girl got something wrong with her. That's a red flag right there.
Also, I want to point out one more thing, and this is fine. So the mom in this scenario is black. And the guy is white looking, and I'm just like, yeah, that's a little bit too on the nose.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
because Joe's racist, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but also
Joe's racist for making that comment. I just
I was just like,
let Bradley go. I want to hear.
Look.
Yeah.
They didn't need to make this movie. Cruella de Vil was always the good guy because she's trying to kill the dogs, and I hated collecting them in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Now, guys, who are they gonna heroify next? I'm thinking Jafar's next, right?
I was gonna say Jafar.
I want the Clayton movie where Clayton's like, these gorillas killed my parents.
No, I'm with Joe. Ursula. I want Ursula.
Ursula has grounds to be saved. Clayton and Jafar are just mean.
They're just evil fucks, dude.
Ooh, no, they're gonna hearify the king from Aladdin.
Sultan?
No, get that.
Yeah.
He's a slug boy.
Slug boy.
They're gonna do the
He's
Sultan.
a slug.
Here's the Ursula plot. King Triton banished me years ago and took away my voice. He oppressed me.
But
so now I'm gonna oppress you.
Aladdin
I've got a girl boss all over
the Little Mermaid's
Girl
coming
boss.
out.
So if they're not making it live action, they're going to make it a villain. Basically, that's what's going to happen.
I hate this trend. I like Disney kind of sucks right now movie-wise. They do not make good movies. I'm just gonna say it.
No, I got it. They're gonna do the evil stepmom. The evil stepmom is the next hero.
How?
Ooh.
How?
That one I could see because it's like
she rescued her daughters from their oppressive ex-husband.
Her daughter is cursed with the fairy gene that summons the evil fairies that destroyed the kingdom so long ago. And she talks to the fairy. Something has to be done.
And Cinderella actually is a succubus.
Yeah. And
well, here's the thing: they already did Cinderella live action, so they can't do that again.
Did they?
Yes.
All right. Here
Anyways,
Mother Gothel, and she's a hot girl boss now. I'm in.
I will say, the Jungle Book live action, I really, really enjoyed.
I heard that one was a trash.
That one was good. No,
that one's really good
movie.
Because the Jungle Book old is actually just like a cavalcade of like just songs mashed together. The Jungle Book live action.
True.
Yeah. Sorry, I got another one.
Okay.
The white guy from Pocahontas.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Wait, let's move on.
Oh
no! Good thought experiment, boys. But we gotta talk about Midsommar. Speaking of white boys,
yes, my favorite.
Bradley may or may not want to get into this, but he watched Midsommar recently, and Tyler and I have also watched this. I was like, it's worth bringing up.
Yeah, and like this is kind of one of those things where like Breaking Bad is something I always do. I just always knew I was going to like before I watched it. I was just like, I just don't feel like watching it right now. Mm-hmm. Midsommar was one of those things where I just kind of knew going into it I was going to really like it. Which, I don't know if that could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, I already know I'm going to like this thing before I watch it, so then I like it more.
I like most of the movies I watched. I knew I would like it, but it turns out the other way. Like The Guest, I thought for sure I'd like it, but I don't. So it's not always.
But Midsommar I really liked. I just think there's like the first scene of the movie. It's like a 12-minute scene, with like. It's very intense. There's little, if any, music, I think, in that entire scene.
It's dreary.
It's very dreary. And I think I was able to connect to the main... I latched on to the main character just because, to a much lesser degree than her, to be fair. But I've had some family deaths this year.
Yeah.
So I was feeling some grief. So... I think kind of all around the movie, I've had like a unique situation of like deaths in the family, old and new relationships, and yes, of course, drug use. That kind of just made this movie a perfect storm for me. And I thought it was fantastic. And, one thing that I think Willer and I have talked about a lot in the past is like, advantages to different mediums, like what stuff you can only do in books that you might not be able to replicate in movies. But at the same time, this is a movie where I was watching it where I'm like, it could not exist in any other medium. Like,
the directing is super solid. It's very good.
It's like the visuals of it are just so important. Like there's even these tiny little things where like there's a flower that is like beating to Danny's heartbeat.
Oh, I fucking hate that. Oh, that some of the moving inanimate object shit really fucks with me in that movie.
But I think they're just all tools that the director uses to this is what like I think the way I described it to you guys, this is probably the first movie I've ever watched in my entire life where my pupils did not leave the screen for the duration of the movie.
Nice.
Because with horror movies, there's, I think, a few different types. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, zombie and then slasher, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, and I guess this also just depends on who's directing it. But with jump scares, it's like you might get a higher spike of adrenaline, but it takes a lot of the tension out of the scene because I know that in 2 seconds, this level of scariness is going to be over. Midsommar, it's like they start winding a string at the beginning of the movie that just keeps building tension all the way till the last scene. So, like, I was just holding my pillow throughout the entire movie, and I was holding it tighter and tighter and tighter until it was over.
It gets increasingly more uncomfortable as the movie goes on.
Yeah, because we never really get that jump scare release of tension. I'm just like, oh my god.
The one scene that's a little bit of a release is like a couple of times where the friends die,
Man.
But even then, like, that's not even the main plot thread, so like it keeps going till the end.
And then, obviously, people can interpret this movie in a lot of different ways, and I'm still thinking about the movie a lot, and one way people try to see it is that this movie is just primarily about the failing relationship between Danny and her boyfriend, and that the cult is just kind of an accessory to that. They just amplify what's already going on between them.
Yeah, I think that's a valid viewpoint.
But I think that also downplays the whole plot thread where like they're preying upon this girl who has nobody.
Yeah.
So, God, I thought it was such a good movie, and
I don't think they really prey upon her. She seems pretty well celebrated there in the end.
Well, but that's how they get members. That's how their cult grows.
That's the thing. So when I was going around to like YouTube comments and reviews, like it was hard for me to find someone who didn't think that the movie had a happy ending. Like all these people were like, yeah, like good on her, or like blah blah. I'm like, no, this is terrible. I'm like, no, this is awful. God,
to me, the movie is all about empathy.
Yeah.
And Christian is stuck in a situation where he has to stay in this relationship because of empathy, because you can't just leave the girl who had both of her parents killed by her sister. in a murder-suicide plot. So he's just a wishy-washy blob of a man because of that. And she doesn't get the empathy she needs from him or her friend or his friends. So she gets it from the cult. And in the end of the movie, she can finally smile. However, that empathy is like not good. It's toxic because she is now part of something so weird and morbid, and they straight up murdered people during that festival and raped Christian. And like the scene that I hate about this movie near the end is when they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we're like." They gave us like a serum, so it's not gonna hurt when we're in the burning house.
Oh,
and then
man.
the dude just starts yelling after a while. It's like, oh no, this is fucked forever. Like even the volunteers are going through awful things.
So I know a lot of people said they think the movie is kind of boring because it like foreshadows a lot of what's gonna happen, like very, very heavily. But to me, that didn't make it boring. It made the intensity ramp up even more because it's just like, it kind of gives me an anxiety of like, I know what's coming.
I could relate to it being a little boring. I was a little bored at times, but I think it comes around. I forget why Tyler hates this movie. We talked about it. It just didn't hit. I think it had something.
No, I also watched this other movie, Hereditary. Didn't like it either. I equate this man to early M. Night Shyamalan.
That's the thing. I need to watch Hereditary. Number one, like, so this was like the first thing I've watched where after watching it, I'm like, I need to watch everything this person's ever made. And
he's only made that.
I know, that's what makes me sad.
No. I didn't
Oh, wait, no. There is another thing.
I didn't want to talk about this. The only reason I'm talking about it now is because Keith forced my hand by bringing this up to Bradley. There is another thing Ari Aster made. It is a college film called There's Something Weird About the Jeffersons, I believe.
The Strange Thing About the Johnsons.
The Johnsons. Let me tell you the plot premise of this movie real quick. It is a short film that is roughly 30 minutes. And the premise of the plot is a father and son who are very open about themselves and are very supportive of each other. And then the son starts molesting his dad. And that goes on from teenagehood, from the night of their prom night, past that, all the way to the after the boy's wedding. He's always sexually abusing his dad, and his dad is too afraid to speak up about it. And it's just like, okay, you just like making very uncomfortable things, don't you, Mr. Aster?
I think I don't care about either one of these films because I've seen a Serbian film.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, Midsommar, Bradley's not wrong. Like, and y'all aren't wrong either. It has like these nice like plot points. You know, it gives you a lot of anxiety as you watch it. And like you said, it's pretty to look at. I'm like, if I want something pretty to look at, I'll go watch like Inception or something, or just something else. I'm here for that dread, and I don't get that from man versus man plots. Like here's the thing. So I will compare this to like Us and Midsommar, both man versus man.
Yeah.
But Us is a slasher. It's a slasher. It's not a horror. And I'm like, that's what man versus man is kind of like. It doesn't build up that dread the entire time, and that's why I enjoy it more.
Also, it feels like man versus like society in a way because of like the themes.
It's purely preference. I don't like Midsommar. I especially hate Hereditary. I'm sorry. Like, this movie's bad.
Hereditary is a good movie. Solid.
Yeah,
but
but
I put both at a solid 4 out of 5. With Hereditary slightly higher for me.
I think, if anything else, I think Midsommar is just I think it is a genuinely unique movie.
It is super, it's a horror that takes place exclusively in daytime.
I will give it that.
And that's really cool.
It is unique on that list. Yeah. And like Willard and Bradley say, it's not a bad movie. I just hate it. Don't put it in my salsa.
No, this is the way I described it. I was like, that was a very painful movie to watch. I'm never going to watch it again, but I loved it. I called it the Pathologic 2 of movies. Because it's extremely painful to go through, but god damn it if I don't think it's amazing. And also because the Harga and Midsommar are like literally the main antagonists of fucking Pathologic 2.
No fucking way.
It's pretty damn. It's really eerily similar, actually.
Man, okay, that hit a sweet spot for Bradley. Okay.
Wait. While we're on movies still, fun fact, Jordan Peele has a new movie coming out.
Oh, sick. Jordan Peele.
It is called The Candyman.
Oh, Jordan Peele's all hits for me. I love Us and Get Out, so... Did you know, a not fun fact, the reason why Jordan Peele doesn't act anymore is because he was offered the role to be the poop emoji in Emoji Movie.
What?
Yeah, I heard this recently. That offended him so much that he was getting typecasted to being the poop emoji that he decided to become a director instead. Yikes.
Damn.
Yikes.
I mean, he's the narrator in The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, but that's cool.
I mean,
also, I mean, he does Big Mouth where he does voice acting.
Yeah.
Also, he was in Get Out, apparently. He was the dying deer. Apparently, that was him.
I don't know how he could have been that character, but all right.
I don't know either. That's what his IMDb cast says.
Briefly, I got Joe and Tyler somehow to try out playing Megaman Battle Network 6 with me. This is a Game Boy Advance game that is like 20 years old. Well, the series is 20 years old. This one's probably like 15 plus, somewhere along that line. It's to play it, we just had to download this package that they put for you with like fully completed save files and VPNs, and we have to use an emulator to do it. But it's been...
It may crash your GPU. Willer will neither confirm nor deny that happening.
Hey, man. That's your dog.
Look.
But I've been having a lot of fun going a couple rounds with these. And you know what's fun also is that I lose. I like losing to these guys. Doesn't happen in much. But it's... Battle Network has one of the most unique combat systems of all time, to the point where I wanted to make a fan project around it. However, One Step from Eden came out, and even that like took some wind out of my sail. But also, having finally played Battle Network 6, I actually don't think I need to add anything. That is a actually very deep and complex metagame that they got going on with a lot of options.
I really like Battle Network 6 a lot more than One Step from Eden.
Yeah. I like the strategic component.
Yeah. Now, granted, I didn't play like the whole plot element, just doing the verses against Willer. But the portion I like is that in One Step from Eden, you have your deck and you just go through your deck like as quickly as possible. Whereas in Battle Network, there's like a limit that you're fighting, and then anyone can like choose to go to the hand, and you have to like re-queue up the cards in your hand. And I like that better because it gives me a breathing room to think about what I need to do and what I should be doing.
Which lets Joe and I pull off some really cool strats against each other. And we only recently dived in, like, me and Joe were playing different versions. Joe has this thing where he likes to corner me in the corner. No matter what, Joe's made 2 decks, but the staple is corner me in the corner and kill my ass with Gun to Soul, which is an attack that doesn't trigger like antibody. Like there's a chip that gives you a 1-hit block, and then you throw a ninja star. Gun to Soul only does 1 damage per tick, but it does it like every frame. So it's like he kills you without activating that. So the only counter would be Invisible, but Invisible is a counter called the entire element of target chips can counter Invisible. So like there's all these counters that we can go. For example, I was fighting Joe with a deck that focuses on poisoning his side of the field and letting him slowly choke out, and then I would slow down the gauge at the top so he couldn't go to the home screen very often, so he was forced to stay in the poison for longer, because each battle can only be 15 turns, so you have this element of you can either speed that time up or slow that time down to prolong these things. But then Joe has a lot of things in his deck that allowed him to ignore or change those panels, so I had to like make counters to those counters to make it work. And
dude, while you guys are saying this, I went on YouTube and found a clip of a net battle between 2 players in Mega Man Battle Network 6, and there's so many effects that happen in the span of 5 seconds. I'm like, oh my god.
It's ridiculous. And the thing that makes it really brilliant is the Navi customization, which opens up this little 5x5 Tetris block.
Oh.
And you can go out of the bounds. So it's realistically, if you're careful, a 7x7 or something like that, which lets you customize your Mega Man with all sorts of cool effects. And we haven't even dove into the Japanese fan patch that we have, Joe. Because that version has something called mod cards, which allow you to like scan in e-reader cards, which we would use codes for, because we don't have those cards. Which will give your Mega Man like different buster shots. It changes the color and element of your base Mega Man. It gives you all sorts of effects. Like you could get so crazy customized in this game. It's awesome.
Willer this year has introduced me to games that have made me go, why the fuck don't I have this now? One of them being Darkstalkers with its gothic horror fighting game.
Yeah.
And the other one being this is like, I'm really digging like the I feel like if they came out with a game like this, it could really get a nice competitive scene. There's already a good competitive scene with the ROM, I believe, right now.
So the reason why this came up recently is because I watched a video called Megaman Battle Network, the only esports played on the Game Boy Advance, which is a great tagline, right? And I knew about the competitive community, but like the way the video talked about it, I was like, I didn't realize this was so balanced and so heated to the point where like there's small pool of players within the community that do the big tournaments against each other, round robin style. And they got so competitive with each other that they started running a format where it's like, okay, we're just going to show each other's folders ahead of time so that you can't come in with a folder where it's like, I'm going to fuck this guy up specifically.
Yeah.
Like, they have a whole thing going on over there. I'm not brave yet. I think this weekend I might become brave enough to challenge a random person on the Discord. But for the time being, I'm playing with Joe and Tyler. The setup process kind of got Tyler a little pissed. He was not in a good mood to begin with that day. And
it was a crash in his graphics card.
It only did it once, but like setting up the VPN, and Tyler was already tired.
Tyler's graphics card can't handle Visual Boy Advance.
And he's eating my gummy worms that he got from me.
Hey, you left him here.
I'm never eating something gummy again.
I'm sure Tyler will come play with me some other time, and we'll play together, have fun.
I really enjoy it.
This still gives me my wish for the Battle Network collection, which I'm sure Capcom is working on. And even if they just make 6 the only online one, that's cool. But if they make like 6 and 5 or 3, that would also be cool with better netcode, because I have to play with the Ethernet on. But not notably, Joe, not with Tyler. I have much better connection with Tyler for some reason.
Yo, Willer, why are our comments turned off on our last video?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Shit.
It might have been marked for children.
Oh.
Yeah, don't mark that shit for children.
Yeah,
we don't want no fucking kids here.
Yeah.
So, Joe, while I talk, because I'm recording the screen, I guess, or whatever, can you like go set that for adults for me?
Yeah, I can go do that.
Joe knows how to manage the channel.
We like it when y'all shit talk us.
Yeah.
We do actually. Like we should mention, like, we read all of your comments that come in, and we laugh and we get excited when well, I mean, I don't care. That's still 6 dudes coming in.
There's been some salty people, dude. Our big One Piece tier list gets the funniest fucking comments.
Yeah.
Man. Some guy was like, "You didn't put Whitebeard in top 10, trash list," and I'm like, "He's still in the amazing tier. Relax."
Yeah. They did that global poll a little while back, and I just want to say, I hate the One Piece fandom because they're all wrong, and it's bad how wrong they are.
They're all wrong. Also,
obviously, the number 1 is Usopp, always.
God King Usopp.
No, the thing that we do wrong is that we love Zoro, but we're not obsessed with Zoro. And if you're not obsessed with Zoro, you are not in some people's friend list. Okay?
Look, you can say that out loud. I'm obsessed with Zoro. I don't want to get stabbed at the back by a mall ninja.
Come get me, fuckers.
What are you gonna do? Stab me?
Sanji gang. Nah, it's not like that. It's not like that. It is for Joe. Okay.
I'm very excited for Whole Cake Island. That's all I'm saying.
Man, I was talking to Bradley about that today. Tyler, let's talk about Record of Ragnarok real quick. This is an anime that came out. Here's another thing.
On Netflix. Netflix anime.
Here's another thing where I'm like, yo, when I start Record of Ragnarok, I know I'm gonna love it. So I'm gonna have a great time starting it. I started the manga. I'm like, this is trash.
Yo, man. So I saw this like 7 or 8 months ago. So fun fact, most Netflix animes are just a dub, but the actual sub version is usually really hard to find. So like season 5 of Seven Deadly Sins just came out, but it's been out in Japan, but it's like not on Crunchyroll, it's not on Simulcast or anything.
I don't think
it's
that's
all
the case
pirated.
here. I don't think that's the case here because I feel like it is freshly coming out.
I remember watching manga videos of like people talking about this.
So there's
I'm all caught up.
There's a manga tuber called The Masked Man, and he does a lot of seinen, and he does some One Piece every once in a while, so I watch some of his videos. He has very distinct thumbnails where it's like an all-white background and a character cut out and red text, and like you can look at a thumbnail by him and be like, yeah, that's him.
So let's go on. Yeah, this thing is terrible. This is like...
But that's the
I
thing.
feel like this is two kids in the playground going like, I'm Jack Slasher, and then the other guy is like,
I'm Hercules.
Yeah, and then they're like, but I do my super attack.
But like, I'm an anime Hercules, which is not anything like you've ever seen. I'm just a generic anime character who's called Hercules. Dude, the gods. Let me just throw that out there. Every god so far has been absolute trash. I hate. These are my least favorite iterations of these gods I've ever seen. They're
so you should watch / read Is It Wrong to Try and Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? They got some good versions of God.
I bet they're better. These are so...
Esty is pretty good.
I am so upset at this Zeus and this... Like, how could they make a Thor that was so boring? Do you want to know what this take on Thor is?
He has no lines!
What?
This Thor is a guy that walks around with a fat hammer and he's just bored. And he's like, I killed the giants. And do you want to know what their version of Poseidon is? A dude who walks around with a trident and is like, I'm so bored. I killed my brother.
Yeah, that's literally
he
it.
killed the 13th god of the pantheon that doesn't exist. And they're like,
yeah, and he goes, when he said he doesn't existed, it was like it became fact.
And that is why he's one of the greatest gods. How do you make me dislike Poseidon? How do you
that's a feat.
I just want to say, this gets one season of an anime, and we don't get a third season of Nice Sidonia. Who the fuck is over there at Netflix?
The thing is, like, and people, I read comments, people are like, man, these have some of the greatest fights I've ever seen, because the whole conceit of the hold on, we'll get to it. The whole conceit of the story is that this is a series that is a tournament arc exclusively. All it is one-on-one fights between Earth's mightiest heroes and 12 of the many gods, right? And if they win 7 out of 13, they get to erase humanity. They do a poll every 1,000 years, like, do we keep it going?
God.
And this year, they unanimously voted no. But 2 Valkyries, which are essentially the main character, showed up and they're like, no, let's make it fun, let's give them a chance. They're really fighting for humanity. I hate these 2 Valkyries, by the way. I think
they're terrible. They're annoying as shit.
They're so annoying. The gimmick with the older sister Valkyrie is that she has a really potty mouth where she's like, I'm gonna rip their fucking dicks off or whatever. And it's
my God.
This is not hitting, dude. They say
fuck in the anime too, and they're like, are we allowed to say that?
They're like, it genuinely feels like it's written by a 13-year-old. So let's get about those amazing one-on-one fights. Here's the Lubu versus Thor fight. It is basically them, like Lubu attacking Thor and Thor not caring, and then Thor finally decides to swing his hammer. And one cool element about the plot is that the Valkyries are 13 sisters, so they all transform into a weapon and bond with a human that allows them to kill gods. I think that's cool, because if the human dies, their soul is erased. There is no afterlife. They're just completely gone from history.
So yeah, this is a fight in heaven, and they can use anybody.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So these main character Valkyrie sisters, what is cool about the plot is that eventually they're going to have to become the last 2 weapons, and their lives will be on the line.
I'll say, you're making me think this is cool.
That's the thing. It sounds cool, but the execution is not cool, man. So the fight is like, Thor gets up and he swings, and Lubu blocks, and he shatters his leg, and he's like, well, fuck, I guess that's it. And Lu Bu gets his backstory where he wanted to be the strongest under heaven, so he conquered every being, and he's like, wow, I bet the gods are the only things that could beat me, and here he is finally fighting the gods, and it's supposed to be cool, but it is the most flat backstory. So Lu Bu's horse shows up, and that's his power-up. He gets his horse, he's like, I will tackle my horse. And then Thor just swings harder and decimates Lu Bu and the horse. And the attack is... the amazing fight is that, dude. That's the
No, you forgot the post-fight. So Lu Bu has this entire army, okay? And if they die here, they go to super hell. Well... Lu Bu dies, and the horse is still alive. And the horse is just like mad-eyed.
He's mean.
And he's like, what?
I gotta see
now I have to kill this horse.
No.
And he has this entire army, and we're following the horse to super hell.
Oh, for glory! And then they all get decimated by one
and kills them all in one hit.
Actually, there's another thing where it was like, there's a moment in the fight. It's a very short fight. It's like 3 monthly chapters, so like it's not super short, but for a series that is all about one-on-one fights, it's not super long. And there's this gauntlet that Thor wears so he can wield Mjolnir, but it turns out the gauntlet was actually there to hold him back, and it breaks out.
In every battle, each god gets no less than 4 upgrades.
And then let me talk about Zeus versus Adam. Adam was actually an enjoyable character. He's kind of... I like
original sin.
Adam is a well-written, I'm bored character, IMO.
But that's the thing.
Hold on, I'm gonna Google what he looks like. Hold on.
Oh, he looks. His design, I think.
He's a Chad. He's a Chad.
He has this amazing line. So like they recontextualize Adam's story so that Eve was tricked by the snake to eat the fruit, and she was forced.
Dude, I like this Adam.
She's in the courtroom in like a phoenix right, and the snake is the lawyer, and Adam comes up with a basket of apples, and he's just eating them and tossing them on the floor like super sacrilegiously, and he's like,
and he's spitting out the apple. He's not even swallowing it.
He's like, fuck you guys, I'm leaving with my goddamn wife, and then he has Cain and Abel. So during the fight, Eve, Cain, and Abel are in the stands like cheering for their family. It's like... This sounds cool, but I promise you it's not. That's the thing. Let me tell you about Adam's super ability.
Oh yeah, Adam,
big dick energy.
He has what's the Sharingan? He has a Sharingan.
It's called the Eyes of the Lord. Because there's a passage in the Bible that said that God created Adam in his image, he has the supernatural ability called the Eyes of the Lord, which allows him to perfectly mimic the movements of exclusively gods. He cannot mimic the movements of like man or animal shit, but he can go blow to blow with Zeus, who he fights.
I guess that's a way better power up than a horse.
Well, Lu Bu's whole thing... Yeah, Lu Bu didn't really have a gimmick, aside from having that horse. But, like...
The horse killed me.
And his weapon is one of the Valkyries turns into Knuckle Duster, so he's this naked man with a lead fighting with Knuckles Dusters.
I'm kind of down for that.
But the whole fight is just, like, punching and dodging each other. It's like a very fast boxing match that they're having.
Okay.
And Zeus doesn't throw any lightning bolts. He just gets big and bulky, and he...
What?
And then, like, he makes these stupid faces. I'm like, the art style is not, like, this is not a... Cool.
How are you gonna have it? How is the premise gonna be man versus gods, and then the god doesn't do his god powers that he's known for?
Dude, I want to go ahead and say this. I watched the anime, and I'm all caught up on the manga because this is a trash fire you cannot look away from. That's what
you can't look away from it. But if you're gonna tell me that this is in your top manga and anime, I will lose all respect.
I'm gonna say this. If you enjoy this, I hope you're also seeing therapy.
If you enjoy this, I hope you know it is like I enjoy it as the D tier it is. Okay, like
I have nothing else to shit on right now.
I probably
seen Midsommar.
Like dude, I probably would have thought this was the coolest shit ever in like 6th grade.
Honestly, still read the first 3 chapters just to see what I'm talking about.
If I'm younger, this is probably the coolest shit ever. That's fun.
They have younger fans, I guess.
But here's the thing: is I don't even like even if I was younger, the anime still is paced terribly. each fight is like 3 or 4 episodes long, and 3 out of 4 of those episodes are literally just the backstory of the human.
Yeah, so you'll get
or like narration, like the combat. It's so narrated.
Yeah, it's the combat, which is supposed to be the saving grace here. It's like Black Clover, like if has better combat, like Naruto has better. Like, things.
One Punch Man has better combat.
Things with cooler stories also have better combat. So what are you really giving me, Record of Ragnarok? I'm on the 3rd fight, and I would end with this. So Poseidon's like a boring dude who killed his brother, which was the god of chaos or something.
Man,
Kronos, the god of time.
No, Zeus killed Kronos. Poseidon, his older brother, killed one of the.
That was their version of Hades. It was their version of Hades.
If anything else, I think this Adam with the knuckles looks fucking cool.
Get the whole body shot so you can see his leaf cross.
That's the thing. That is the only. I will say one good thing about it. I look forward to seeing who's gonna fight. I don't want to watch the fight. I don't want to know the backstory. I just want to
see the bracket, man.
Actually, we know the bracket. It's revealed in the very first episode.
But they show all the characters. We don't know who's gonna go against who. Like, who's gonna fight Nikola Tesla?
See, Nikola Tesla versus Zeus seems to be like the actual match we're gonna do, but no. Yeah.
The creator obviously didn't have all the gods until he was midway through the Zeus fight, because midway through the fight, the Valkyrie is like, oh, on my iPhone, I now see the full roster of who's fighting. And it's like,
oh my god.
So, but I will talk about the one positive so far, really. I think the samurai guy who Poseidon's currently fighting where I'm at is the coolest character so far. His backstory is
okay. This panel is hype though. Come on, like that's
the one. He's like people think I fight because I hate the gods because they imprisoned my wife, but what motivation does a father need to fight for his children? I'm like, okay, you got me there.
I know. I look at this panel. I'm like, that's the hypest shit ever.
Yeah,
it's really cool to like see the humans start to unify. Like at the very beginning, they're literally like praying to like God save us, and it's like these are the gods that are trying to kill you. What the fuck are you praying to, you?
So they start praying to like Adam and stuff.
Yeah, they start praying to Adam.
That's a little cringe. That's a little cringe.
I think that's
cool. No, it worked out all right. Okay. This samurai guy, his whole thing is like throughout his life he was the world's biggest loser because he keeps challenging. Like after he reached a certain level, he exclusively challenges people better than him, and he'll lose, but then he'll just go on to the next big challenge and like slowly rise as he's like challenging people stronger than him. So he's the world's biggest loser. However, I can't see anything coming of this fight because the fight has been going on for 2 chapters, and all that's happened is that.
Ooh. Have you not finished that fight?
No, they're like, who's gonna attack who? And he's like seeing all these scenarios where he attacks Poseidon and gets killed, and then his whole big thing is like, I'm just gonna sit down and wait. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so boring. Like
I like that fight. That's a good one. You should watch it. I think that's the one fight where the gods isn't like, oh, here's my 4th upgrade.
Yeah. They've been super underwhelming.
Yeah, I think I just want to like see the results of all these fights.
I know Jack the Ripper fights next, and I'm super excited to see what.
Oh shit! I gotta get in.
He's gotta jump out of a horse.
Yeah. I gotta get in, dude.
I enjoy the matchups, and that's like the fights. Like in the anime, the fights probably last like half of one episode.
Wow, what the fuck? I guess this can't be like the tournament must get interrupted and the gods have to fight. Yeah.
No, they just have that much backstory in between each fucking episode.
Zeus is usually like a scrawny man, but he grows bulky and he punches fast. Like
he's a shitty version of the Hunter Association president.
This Zeus's ability is that he killed Kronos and therefore can move faster than time and basically stop time while he's attacking. But because Adam has the eyes of the Lord, he can move and stop time, and they just aura, and that's the fight.
That's literally just aura.
I just wanted to make Dio and Jotaro again, and that's it.
Anyway, let's just end it by talking about Mario Golf very quick.
No. Hey, go watch this anime. It is a fun trash fire.
I kind of want to.
Bradley,
I would read the manga personally.
Okay.
Watch it on your computer and just kind of tap through it. That's kind of what I did.
That's the thing. I'll go through the chapters, and then every few chapters there will be this panel with Adam that's actually dope as hell.
the last chapter I sped like I stopped for the backstories and then I just kind of like quickly go through because there's nothing of substance right now. I guess there's not much to say about Mario Golf except that it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're missing Mario Golf right now. It's tea time. Tea time is 7:30.
No, it's 2 times 9.
Oh shit! No,
Yeah,
right?
9:30.
9:30? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I will be at tea time tonight.
Bro, what?
You won't be?
What?
No, I have a date.
Oh,
Fuck your date.
I'm gonna let Kelly know.
Yeah. Mario Golf is great. I'm growing to really hate the spin system.
Really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Have you played the single player? Because that's what I'm into right now. The single player is actually like weirdly like I didn't think it'd be this kind of.
Dude, have you done the first 18 of day 1 of the tournament?
No, I'm not that far yet.
So I got beef that first of all, in the adventure mode, you can't skip any of the tutorial. It asks you if you want to, and then you go, yes, I do want to, and then it's like, no, you can't. You have to do this. And it's literally just you clicking A and putt. It's like just literally click A.
I failed some of those. Hold on. Oh my God. I failed the one where you had to get 80 points. I failed it like.
I failed 0 of those because that was for
It's
baby.
my first Mario Golf. Get the fuck off me. I'm gonna beat you later.
You will, because I did the desert course. Fuck that course, by the way, and fuck its greens. That course has terrible greens.
Like,
Sounds like a good game to me.
It's not an amazing game, but the characters look cute. The speed mode is probably fun. I know Tyler doesn't like it, but
I didn't like the speed mode either.
I have not heard anybody say they like speed golf.
It's not because
it is a fundamentally like okay. Here's my thing. It is objectively bad design because nothing you do matters in. It's literally just puts a timer on your golf game and makes everybody play the game faster. Like, that is what it is. It's speed golf, but your speed has nothing to it dictates nothing with whether you win or lose.
It still goes off of strokes, and every 30 seconds is an additional stroke.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
With this,
Oh, is it really? I didn't even get to that point.
So it is. If you show the results screen, it tells you that every 30 seconds adds to like the thing.
I was like -3 when I was finished the game because I never went below 30 seconds because every time you shoot, you get like 30 seconds or something added on. I kind of like, when I did it against the NPCs in the first like 18 tournament, I just like walked to my ball. Like, sprinting is nothing. Stamina doesn't mean shit. Just put power, like, probably put it into aiming because that matters the most.
Yeah.
But your power doesn't matter because the further you hit, the more power you put into it, the less stamina you have and the quicker you can't get to your ball. So therefore, like, power doesn't fucking matter. Control probably matters the most then in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, like, speed golf is lame. Battle golf is probably really fun.
Battle golf is like the Mario Kart version.
Yeah, it actually has like power-ups and like these cool mechanics. It's a special course for it. But speed golf is just like, oh, play faster.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not what golf is about. That's not what makes this fun.
I really enjoy when we were just playing like normal ass golf. And I was like,
yeah. I really feel that's what like the problem on this game was like they were like, we need a new gimmick. And it's like, no, you should have doubled down on regular golf. You should not have put anything into speed golf.
I think the thing that's cool about this game is that they did promise they're going to add free updates, like they showed playing golf in New Donk City, for example. And seeing how they improved Mario Tennis Aces over time, which me and Bradley played some this weekend, and oh my god, that game is so perfect now.
Mario Tennis Aces is great.
That is actually like a 10 out of 10. Like,
it's a little problematic because they're never. I'm just really afraid if they ever try to make another Mario Tennis, I'm going to be disappointed.
We'll have this one forever.
I think so.
Oh, man, that game is deep. This isn't quite at that level, but I think it's got a good roster. I think it has potential because I feel like they can add more interesting things to this one because the story mode, I saw some footage from the bosses. This game gets fucking crazy. Like, you're playing speed golf against, like, Moltres, and he's, like, shooting at you.
What the fuck?
No, it's like a real-ass golf RPG. Like, I'm actually excited to do that, which is good because I had to buy this game out of a blood pact. So, yeah.
Who's your me character that you're doing the story with?
I'm doing it with just Willer me.
I'm Rick Sanchez, me.
I wish these could be more customizable, so I would do
I wish you could change their voice, because their voice sounds like a demon spawn whenever they make anything. They're like...
Talking about Nintendo stuff, I just got a notification for a YouTube video called Sacrifices to the Church of Nintendo.
They know what you've been doing with Dreamcast, Bradley, so...
Oh no! I'm next.
You're cheating!
So, while we're on Nintendo, y'all want to do a little bit about Kazuya?
Oh yeah, Kazuya came out for Smash, and I was going to play it tonight.
Dude, I saw this person do like was it like a 10-hit combo or some shit? I don't know.
Yeah.
10-hit combo is something every character has in Tekken, and in this game it's his jab string, and it does like 45% damage if you get it all. But
I saw a tweet that was like, "Welcome to Tekken, it's your problem now too."
They were explaining a mechanic. There's a move in Tekken called the Electric Wind God Fist, where there's a perfect input that raises it from God Fist to Electric Wind God Fist, which makes it plus on block, makes it invincible, makes it do more damage. It is like, if you can consistently get that move, you could spam that the whole round and feasibly win. However, it's such a strict timing that it's harder, but in Smash, it's easier. So you can Electric Wind God Fist into forward smash and kill, like, Terry at 50%. So this is a character, and if you watch the Sakurai Presents with all his moves, they brought in, like, he has 30 moves in a Smash game. It's ridiculous. Like, Sakurai cares so much about these things, and I love him for it. I think Season Pass 2 might not be the most obvious characters, like Sephiroth and Min Min and Pyra/Mythra. Like, they're not like the big blockbuster Joker or Banjo picks, but I think gameplay-wise, Season Pass 2 has been exclusive. Like, Steve is such a cool character in a fighting game. And I hate that this is the truth.
Sakurai's going so hard because it's going to be the last Smash Bros, man.
It's the last Smash Brothers ever.
Right now, to end the podcast, who is the final character?
Man.
This is really tough because it could be anything. He broke with Season Pass 1, they made anything possible. With Season Pass 2, they made anything confusingly possible, where it's like Season Pass 2 is completely unpredictable.
Like, the thing is like there's no pattern to what they're choosing. Yeah. Because we thought we were done with Final Fantasy characters, and then we got Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Which I'm perfectly fine with, because I think that's a character that needs to be in
he deserves it.
And here's the thing about anime swordsmen, okay? The problem people have with anime swordsmen is when they're the generic, like, Fire Emblem type, where all their moves are generic sword swings. Sephiroth is a slow, long sword magic user as well, so it's different.
Exactly.
Which brings me to my pick. Sora from Kingdom
Hearts. It's gotta be Sora. Come on.
Look, I feel like Geller's like, when Steve came around, everything was Sora. I'm like, dude, the first DLC was Piranha Plant.
Yeah.
People thought that was the joke.
Yeah.
I did think that was pretty out there.
I saw the one where people were like theorizing it might be the main character from Undertale. What's her name?
Oh, Frisk. You know what? I think Frisk is genuinely possible.
Dude, that's the thing. Willer sent like this sheet from probably Reddit or some shit, and at first I thought it was a joke, but I was reading everything on the sheet and I was like, this actually seems likely now.
Don't give me hope. Yeah.
Man, here's all I'm gonna say is nobody has predicted it except one guy 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, you just know, dude.
What?
Yeah.
Because that's how Piranha Plant was predicted, was this one random host, and it's like, oh yeah, the first DLC character is probably like Petey Piranha.
Well, I mean, if you get enough monkeys in a type room,
someone's gonna get it right.
You're gonna get
all the monkeys, man.
Yeah.
Joe, Tyler, who y'all thinking? Bradley, who's going in? I think it has to be Sora, and I'm gonna stick with it.
You're going to be disappointed, but
Sora. Okay, here's my thing. I'm not gonna be disappointed by anybody. I will probably have the same neutral reaction I've had to everybody. In like Sephiroth, I don't care about. Like, he's great. Like Pyra, she's cool. Like, that's a cool transformation character. I love Steve. He's cool.
it was a zombie.
I will only be disappointed if it's a Fire Emblem character. That's it.
Okay, let me squash that right now. People meme about this, but it's like one of those the Smash fan base has one joke scenarios. It's not going to be a Smash.
No, Willard.
I will put
whenever this happens, we're not joking. We genuinely mean it. There's
I don't want it to be
There's
a Fire Emblem.
left. Worst case scenario, it's a Pokemon and it's Cinderace. Okay.
So we've got a few things. Like, okay, I thought it would be cool if it's like Doom Guy. Like, Master Chief wouldn't have a cool moveset.
He's a Mii
Doom Guy would.
Yeah. Doom Guy is a Mii costume I can see. I think Master Chief is.
I think he already is a Mii costume. Am I wrong?
Is Doom Guy?
Doom Guy's not a Mii costume.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Guys, they're going to go back to the very beginning, Pong, and it's going to have the most complex moveset of all time.
Tetris! You
no.
changed the shape.
Pong is an assist trophy, so it can't be Pong.
Yeah, it's not Pong.
But if it's L Block, I think that would be fucking hype.
That would be hilarious.
People have talked about it for so long.
Great. I think L Block would be great.
I can see it being like
picks?
I can see it being like Waddle Dee or Frisk because that's Sakurai. I mean, he did Kirby, man.
No, yeah, Frisk is. I think Waddle Dee would be so lame as the final pick. I'm sorry, Bradley.
Or we forgot about Eggman.
That would be fucking sick.
Eggman would have such a cool moveset.
Yeah.
And Bradley is a Sonic boy now, so like.
But is Nintendo gonna let their last DLC for Smash Ultimate be a Sega character?
That's the thing.
I think it's gotta be a Nintendo character that's last.
Maybe.
Who's left? That's the thing. There's like.
They got it all, man.
They could be one of the Guardians from
guys,
Breath of the Wild.
They don't have Dr. Baby Wario.
Oh.
What if they did put like Yoshi and Baby Mario? Like, that's the fun.
That's not a cool final character, but that is an awesome base roster.
That's a cool concept, concept character. That one is cool.
Let's see who Rosalina's already in there.
So
you could be
we Shantae. Rain Man's probably not gonna make it.
No, Rain Man's not a big enough pop at this point.
No,
Waddle Dee pop or something like super weird.
Yeah,
I think we've been consistent with it's not an indie character. That would be the pop. Is that if it is indie?
I really need it to be Sora. I love Undertale, and I think it would be cool if that game had a character. But even if the character from Undertale was in, I'd be sad that it's not Sora.
Bradley,
I think.
I was thinking, what if they do a Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, and depending how you play him,
yes,
at 100% he goes into form. So if you do a lot of magic, he goes into wisdom. But if you did a lot of aerials, he goes into master. Could you imagine?
It's the perfect character.
What if Sakurai's actually cucked us? And it's like he gives us like
it's Sakurai himself.
No. That would be cool if it was Sakurai. But what if it's like an original Nintendo Smash character, like the first ever unique character
His name is Smash. That would be his name.
They could have Taboo or like a reincarnation of Taboo.
Dude, theorizing who the final Smash character is like theorizing what the One Piece is.
Yeah. At least the One Piece has theories. Yeah.
Gino walks on the screen and he's in the Mii costume. He's in the Mii costume for Gino, and then like transformation happens, and then it's actually Gino.
I would come.
And then he dies because that's not him.
What if it's troll? It's gonna be Waluigi.
What if it was Mallow?
Who? Mallow? That would mean people.
Get that shit out of here. People would actually be mad. I'd be mad. I would be fucking furious if they gave us him instead of Gino. That'd be such bullshit.
Sakurai's just going out with the.
In reality, the Nintendo character we do not have playable is Waluigi, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, I feel like Waluigi getting in would be like a nice bookend to this whole series.
Saga.
Yeah.
Man, it's not going to be.
I think it's not going to be
for Sora or Frisk. It's just going to be a.
No, because you know what?
If it's
Waluigi,
a Zelda Guardian, I'm going to be so upset.
Waluigi, his hat has the backward L, and that's like the bookend. to like be the bookend for the.
What if it was like a Legend of
I'm
Zelda?
coming up with theories. I'm trying.
You know,
Vati?
it could be Emmy from Metroid Dread. The new.
I was about to say, what if it is one of the new Metroid Dread machines?
Let's fucking go.
The robot thing from Metroid Dread, because he has an amiibo. Anyways, we'll see. I'm just gonna. We got a good. You can't complain. There's like 90 characters in this game. There's something for everyone. They fucking put in 30 moves from Kazuya. You can't complain about anything.
Yeah, actually, I guess at this point, like, if you get mad because one character's not in, you're just a bitch.
Do you understand you can do Joker versus fucking Star Fox? This is the craziest game ever.
That is actually insane.
Yo, my final pick, Mother Brain.
No, get that shit out of here.
No, it's Super Mario Bros. 3.
I need it to be Sora, or I'm never gonna sleep.
Metal Mario.
No, that's oh man, I would not even. So everyone else in the world would be mad. I would not be mad. Metal Mario was a very cool boss fight in the first Smash Bros.
Think of the greater good.
Oh yeah, Cinderace is still on there too for picks.
Yeah.
No, get that fucker.
I think it's gonna be Cinderace.
There's never been a good Pokemon after Pikachu.
Okay.
Boom.
Here's the thing: the Pokemon have exclusively the most creative and unique moveset. Like, not unique in gameplay, but their movesets really like use their elements really well. I think the Pokemon have the best movesets of a series, like as opposed to like say the Mario characters, the Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah, I think you're right.
What if it was the Ring Fit character?
No, that would fuck. I would fuck
like
that. Well, I mean, I would like that character in Smash, just not as the last DLC.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that fucks with me.
I think the like real art to enjoying it will like. It's impossible to say it's not the last character because it's the last character though.
Ever.
Did they say this is the last season pass?
Sakurai might not even touch the series again. Like, it's so unclear right now.
It's pretty clear. Let Sakurai rest.
Let him take it down.
All right. That's the podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.